research results for about 28.7 million websites. Most deal with the very serious issues of government overspending and the accumulation of more than 2 centuries of federal deficits, yet very few bring up the biggest national debt of them all, that which America owes to her veterans. We honor the more than 1 million American men and women who have given their lives for their country since our nation's founding. Our debt to these heroes can never be repaid, but our gratitude and respect must last forever. For many veterans, our nation wasn't important enough to endure long separations from their families, must miss the births of their children, freeze in sub-zero temperatures, bake in wild jungles, lose limbs, and far too often lose their lives. Warriors can complain. Warriors endure. Warriors make do with the least. Warriors finish the job. No matter how hard, no matter what is asked, warriors need advocates, and that is why the American Legion exists today. We are here to serve veterans, their families, and our communities. Veterans need each other, but more importantly, our country needs our veterans. You cannot fight a war without veterans, and while the utopian idea of a society without war is appealing, let us not forget that wars have liberated slaves, stopped genocide, and toppled terrorists. Stephen Ambrose once wrote, "America's wars have been like rungs on a ladder by which it rose to greatness. No other country has triumphed so long, so consistently, or on such a vast scale through forces of arms. It has been often said that without our veterans, Americans would be speaking possibly Russian, German, or perhaps Japanese. Regardless of which view of ultimate history you take, we do know that without veterans, America would not be America." The American Legion shows its support for American heroes through its family support networks, legacy, scholarship funds, Operation Comfort funds, just to name a few of our state and national programs. The Gordon Post, combined with the latest auxiliary, contributes many hours of our time and efforts towards the support of our veterans from the days of active service to those in assisted living, hospitals, and the honor guard and final rescue places. But you can show your support by simply saying thank you to the next veteran you meet. You can show your support by hiring a veteran in your workplace, visiting a VA hospital, or donating to a veterans program. Companies should understand that it's smart business to hire veterans, and when members of the Guard and Reserves deploy, it is America's business to ensure that their civilian careers do not suffer. Homelessness is another issue that affects veterans disproportionately. Too often today's tattered citizens of the street was yesterday's toast of the town in crisp uniform with rows of shining medals, and this is hardly the thanks. A grateful nation, we can do better, we must do better.
Please welcome Serviceman Grady Radabaugh.
My name is Grady Radabaugh, and I am an Army National Guard recruiter and retention NCO out of Superior. Just to give you a brief history of me, I am originally from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, which is about 2 hours south of here. A little small town, a little bit bigger than mine, but when I graduated high school, actually I graduated early to join the Marine Corps Reserves out of Fort Snelling, Minnesota. I was in the Marine Corps Reserve, went to basic training, or boot camp they call it, and my brother was in the National Guard. And right after I got out of boot camp, September 11th happened, which you guys, a lot of you were probably pretty young at that time, but I was 19 or 20 years old. After the buildings were bombed, I decided that if I was going to go serve in Iraq or Afghanistan, that I wanted to serve with my brother because he was in the National Guard. So I was able to do an inter-service transfer from the Marine Corps Reserve into the Army National Guard. And what happened then is I was in college, living a normal life. After September 11th, I did my 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year training. And about 2004, I was sitting in my living room at my college house in Mankato, Minnesota, and the phone rang and said, "Hey, get ready, we're going to Iraq in June." So what we did is my brother and I, and everybody else we were with, packed up our bags, and we spent 5 months in Camp Shelby, Mississippi. From Mississippi and California, we flew to Kuwait. We spent about 2 weeks in Kuwait, and did a little bit more training there, got resupplied, got some ammunition and vehicles and all that. And from there, we flew into Iraq on a C-130 airplane. And from there, we landed in Iraq, and then we took a Chinook helicopter to my patrol base, which was, they call it FOB Cobra, which was a forward operating base. That's what FOB stands for. Now, where I was in Iraq was a very desolate area. It was about 20 minutes from the Iranian border, about 3 hours from Baghdad. And our main job there was to conduct patrols and not only do the military thing that everybody thinks of when they think of the military, which is fighting and shooting and stuff. We also did a lot of things. We coordinated with the mayor and the police and the Iraqi army, and we trained them. We coordinated to dig wells, because the people over there, their sewer system basically runs right into their rivers, and then they take that water and they drink it. It's very, very old-fashioned style. So what we did was we would coordinate to dig wells so they could have fresh drinking water, so they could irrigate their crops. We would provide security for schools, so children can go to school without being worried about a terrorist bombing their school. We handed out books, pencils, paper, food, shoes. A lot of our job, well, half of our job was probably doing humanitarian efforts to show the people that we were on their side, that we're there to help, and we're not there just to take over their country. But we also did the military side, where we would do raids, patrols, arrest bad people, terrorists and criminals. That was our main job over there. Two things I'm very proud of. When I served over in Iraq, we were there for the first 2 free elections ever in the history of Iraq. The first one was, I believe, in January of '05, and we provided security for that. And that was the first time that women could vote, first time that men could vote and actually have their vote counted. And let me tell you what, we kind of take it for granted here that we can pick our government and choose who leads our countries and our state and our town. But there, people were crying. They were so happy and so proud that they could actually have a role in their government and that they were actually free. So I'm very proud that we provided security and helped set those elections up. That was right when I got to Iraq, and right towards the end, my last mission actually was providing security for the second elections ever. So it'd be kind of like us having presidential elections in November, and then 2010, I think it was, we had state elections. It was kind of that kind of same system. And we provided security for that. Now, people ask me, I get that a lot, is, were you afraid in Iraq? And I was like, heck yeah, I was afraid. I was scared out of my wits when I first got to Iraq. We were there in 2004 and 2005, and it was not nearly as calm as it is now. So, yeah, I was scared. I was really scared. I was a young kid. I was 22 years old, and I had no idea what to expect. But after about a month being there, I kind of got the customs of the way things work, what to expect. We got a couple raids under our belt and arrested some pretty nasty guys, and I knew what to expect. So yeah, I was scared. I was still scared even all the way up until I came home. But I would use that fear to motivate me to learn what my mission was. So I knew exactly what I was supposed to do every day, because I didn't want to get hurt, and I didn't want the guys that were with me to get hurt. And it made me a better soldier, and it made me grow up a lot. And it was a big turning point in my life. Because of that fear, I was able to really turn it into power for myself. So yeah, I was scared, but it was a good fear, and I learned a lot and grew a lot while I was there. And people, when you think of Iraq or Afghanistan, they think it's all, war and horrible things that happen. But we also had fun. We had internet and TV, and we'd play football games, and we'd have boxing matches between the soldiers, and play basketball games. And there's actually, where we were in Iraq was near the Iranian border. And if you look at a map of Iraq, there's Iraq, Iran, and Turkey, and they're all kind of come together in that area. Well, up in that little area is a place called Kurdistan, and that's a sect of Muslims that are they're Kurdish. They're Kurdish Muslim, and they don't believe the same type of religion as the Sunnis and the Shiites. And the Kurds are very, very pro-American. They rose up against Saddam Hussein when he was in power, and for that Saddam hated him. But they loved America, and they invited us up to their area one time to basically do kind of a field trip. And let me tell you what, if anything's more satisfying than that, I don't know what it would be, because we got to see what our hard work and all the sacrifices that the soldiers and the Marines and the Airmen and the Navy have done in Kurdistan, because Kurdistan was a self-sustaining government. They were free, and they loved America. And let me tell you, if ever, once this whole Iraq war kind of settles down, if you ever get a chance to go to that part of the world, I would really suggest it. It's beautiful. It looks like it's Wyoming. They've got mountains and white water. The people there are just the most inviting, friendly people in the world, and they probably give you the shirt off their back just because you're an American. So,
Please welcome back the Northwood Band as they play a selection called America.
Short days ago, we lived, felt, danced, saw sunset glow.